Well, good day, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your morning flash update. And this update is for Friday, the 8th of September, 2023. Football last night. What a surprise. KC Law loses. Whoa, what does that mean for the league? I think that's a shock. Can you imagine some of those players from there? I can only imagine what today's going to bring. It ain't going to be pretty. As we take a look at the dollar, stable. That's the right word to use. Not falling much. You can see other currencies up a little bit. A rally was attempted in the yen. It got up to 68.30. It's 50 lower than that. So the traders are doing what I told you. Everybody's going to keep testing the Bank of Japan till they see actual intervention. Not words, but the actual full-fledged intervention. In the energy market, what you've really done in prices is you moved, if you open your charts up and put Bollinger Bands on them. The market has moved from being to the left-hand side over the band to the right side under it. That puts the market fully in balance. The question I have is it going to embed? If it does, then $95 could be a number that we get up to in the Brent. Wouldn't surprise me. Very stable in the bonds and notes right now. In the grain markets, well, they've been breaking recently. It's harvest time. You add supply. This is not a time where I get very bullish. You wait for the news. Next Tuesday, we're going to get some important grain news. We'll get an idea of crop sizes, where we're at both in the other hemispheres as well as ours. Gives us an idea of where things are. In the gold market, well, it got up to 1951.40. I'm contending that if this market breaks down much from here, much under 1940, you could see some problems in the market. Could get another raft to the downside. Copper certainly not holding up. People are getting the story. In China, they're just not doing enough to support the markets. Now, I read a story last night that I included in my nightly full research. And in it, I was showing that on this new Huawei phone, it was ripped apart by one of the companies, and they found that some of the chips in it were older chips sold just before the chip law was put in that we cannot ship to them. So what are they going to do with those phones? Huawei is also issuing now what they call a higher speed phone. And remember, Apple's got a problem here. Apple's problem is normally, I use the word normally, you rally right up into the release date of its new products, and then after that, it's not uncommon on the day of the release to drop anywhere between 1% to 3%. You're not getting a rally. What does that mean for the stock? In addition, while this has gone to state governments that they're saying they can't own, and it's more than that. They've expanded the law now to any state-owned businesses cannot use, while the business is being operated, iPhones. So this is the retaliation. And remember, this was the darling company. So where does this say we're at? You wait. In the next couple of weeks, you're probably at the latest going to see that the United States and the EU finally resolve issues on steel tariffs, and they'll hit China with them and free up steel from us. And we've got to do something with our relationship with Canada, get more lumber in and other things. Biden administration has to do an awful lot more. They have no energy policy. I know you know that if you've listened to me. When I tell you none, none. Their energy policy is let's take the lands away in Alaska. Let's not let us produce over here, but let's call on the owners of the oil companies and tell them they should do more. This policy, they should all be fired. It starts with the head guy, the president, right on through the energy secretary. No policy at all, no idea of what they're doing. We could be having lower energy and a lot more of it. Natural gas, all right, the strike has begun in Australia at 2 of Chevron's plants. This is important. It's going to represent, I think those 2 plants make up 4 or 5% of Australia's gas output. They are the largest in the world of natural gas. They service the Asian basin. Be careful. That ultimately could mean that our gas starts getting bids. First people it will affect is Europe. First, obviously, Asia, but then the Asian traders turn and they'll buy the gas that's closer to Europe that they can get their hands on. We're the people of the last resort, but you want to pay attention to that. In the U.S., we're just sort of drifting around here. I don't know if you've looked at the amount of corporate debt that was issued this week. Monstrous in its size. Now, it's typical. This is the week where you generally do that. And they're paying 5.7% on average. I write about that in this week's report as well. Now, as we take a look at the day's data, We get July wholesale inventories and sales data at 9 o'clock. That's July's. We're already in September. They're forecasting it down 0.1% in the inventories, and that compares with the prior months down 0.5%. At the end of the day, we're going to get consumer credit, and I think traders will look at that. But it's next week that you want to really be tuned in. We get core, PPI, and CPI, and retail sales. Those three things give the Fed a pretty good idea as to where the economy is at right now and what they have to do or not do as they approach their July 19th two-day meeting, and on the September 19th two-day meeting, and September 20th they'll announce what their policy is going to be. Are they going to hold interest rates? Are they going to go up again? Market doesn't think they're going to go up. It thinks that they're going to hold steady. I don't know. I want to see those next reports. I have said that now for 3 weeks. You think I'm going to change my opinion going into it? Not going to do that at all. I want to remind you that if you use the popular service TradingView, we have my suite of indicators, everything you see at the end of the day in it. The swing line study that I have, you're not getting that anywhere else. My way of doing slow stochastics, my formula. Moving averages, obviously the ones that I use, which are typically the 200, the 100, the 18-day of closes, and the 3-day average of highs or lows. You're going to want to see where those come in. And as I said, my version of the slow stochastics, which is different than yours. And I also include outside bars. Everything ties together to my enhanced Bollinger Band course, along with what else I teach in all the different charting courses, including my swing line. So you put this together, you have your two suite. It doesn't take up much space. It only takes up 2 slots. If you're using that, you understand what I'm saying. How do you get it? Well, you can go to our website, iraepstein.com. You can move your cursor up here. If you go to our website, under Client Resources, go there. Even if you're not a trading client of mine, go to Client Resources, because once you sign up there, you are a client for all purposes. And we turn it on from there. You'll get an email, log out, back in, and bang, they're all waiting for you. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great day. I will see you over the weekend. I don't know if I'll do them today or tomorrow as I do our weekend edition of our wrap-ups using weekly charts. You have a great trading day. See you over the weekend.